Welcome to Gooner Pavilion, and let me just get my camera all nice and good. And hey, another Arsenal game, another game that we're talking about referees. It's becoming tiring. It's really becoming tiring. Arsenal won, Everton won. That was the result of the game. But before I talk about the refereeing decision and Vieira and all of that, but let's just talk about what I liked about the game. So I like the fact that Mikel Arteta rotated the squad. I think there is no question about it. Real Madrid is the priority. Um, it's very important that we go into that game, one, with players not injured. And I think that was at the top of his mind, especially when you had two players go off injured in the previous game. And you start to think, well, what I don't want to do is blow it in the first leg. And really, Arsenal has to look at this game as rather than a two-legged tie, but really as a one-legged tie. And I'll tell you why. Because we play Real Madrid at the Emirates Festival. We've got to win that game. And we've got to play it almost the way that we played PSV, in the sense that we play like as if the second leg is not even there. Because the reality is, when we go to the Bernabeu, it's something different. The Bernabeu is a bit like Anfield. There's got this magic thing about it. You can't you can't fight against the emotion, the crowd, the atmosphere, the magic in that place. So you can't be going there with a one goal lead. Nope. You can't even be going there with a two-goal lead and not have to defend for your lives, because you need to make it look like Real Madrid have got to play at superhuman strength or ability in order to beat you. You know, and it's just something that happens at that stadium. You can't count on referees acting up and things like that. So you really have got to do it. So I do like Mikel Arteta's approach to rotate key players, Odegaard, Partey, also, I think for me, Gabriel Martinelli is going to be key in that game. He's going to be the reason why we will be pushing Real Madrid back, right? Because we know that their strength is in their forward players. It's the same thing for us right now. Our strength has got to be in our forward players and not our defensive players. So for me, I thought that was a good decision. The game in itself was a typical type of performance when we go to Everton. I don't care who the manager is. Every time we go away from home, I don't know whether it's part of the travel, it's getting there, whether it's the stadium, but we always struggle at Everton. So if in a different time of the year, a 1-1 draw at Everton is a good result. There's a lot of teams that would go there and would really, really struggle, especially in this new look. And listen, Arsenal have just had rotten luck, absolutely rotten luck. You're playing an Everton team that is resurging under David Moyes. Timing is very important in the league. When you play teams, then you've just got to be lucky, right? You've got to be lucky. A team is going through a bad patch, maybe injuries and stuff like that. You catch them and you get your 3 points and you move on. 3 weeks later, it's a completely different situation. And so we've not had any luck at all. And when it comes to having luck at all, let's just talk about what consistently is becoming an absolute frustrating conversation when it comes to Arsenal and referees. Listen, people are going to say what they want, and it is always good to debate and talk about Mikel Arteta and say he's whining, and Arsenal like to complain about the referees. But there's no smoke without fire. I believe, right? And I think that Arsenal have had the same amount of scrutiny by the referees this season as well as Wolves did last season. If you remember Wolves, they just could not get decisions going for them. They were getting penalties against them, they were getting goals called against them, they were not getting any calls at all. And then, of course, remember Mark Clattenburg was something, I don't know what he was for Wolves. That completely backfired. They bullied him until he resigned from that position. The likes of Gary Neville and the rest, continually slandering what he was doing there because, yeah, it wasn't something that they liked. If it was something that they liked, I'm sure they would not have put that amount of scrutiny on it. And it almost like the PGML definitely said, yeah, what we're gonna double down on decisions, whether it's good or not. And for goodness sake, I completely utterly, it makes no meaning at all when they release the statement after a decision has been made. There is nothing in that statement that's insightful. There's nothing in that statement that is revealing. There's nothing in that statement that is educative, right? If PGMOL is expecting that because they come out with a statement on Twitter or X, what they call it now, that all of a sudden that really justifies the decision that they make, then I gotta got something else coming because it's an absolutely rubbish statement they came out with. Basically, they just repeated what happened. The referee on the field made a decision because they thought there was enough contact for that penalty to happen. Come on, enough contact. Are you telling me? Listen, I don't care what it is, right? These referees are completely human. And it's no wonder it's against Miles Lewis-Skelly. I bet you if that was against somebody else, I don't think that penalty will be given. I don't know for sure, but I feel like it will not be given. I don't think that penalty will be given against Van Dijk. I don't think that penalty will be given against other players. I think that there was a bit of a narrative that is building up around Miles Lewis-Skelly, and referees are falling into it. So it's a shame, but that's what it is. And listen, it was so soft. So soft. The inconsistencies with the referees this season, it's absolutely shocking. And I knew this was gonna happen because I remember I had a conversation with my guys in another podcast, and we're talking about the very first one that was so contentious. Remember the Declan Rice red card against Brighton? And a lot of people were jumping and bringing out the letter of the law and reading technical things, this, that, and that. And I said to myself, all these things just empowers the referees. It just makes them even more bold to even do even more terrible decisions. And for me, it's incompetency. The refereeing in this country is absolutely rock bottom. And I know no one's going to talk about it. I know no one's going to say what they need to say. I know there are a few people that are talking about it. So when I say no one, I'm really talking about the big media companies and people that have got really big platforms, right? Because it doesn't serve them to go in that narrative. It really doesn't. But the reality is the Premier League refereeing is really atrocious this season. And if Howard Webb thinks that they're doing a great job and he comes up on the Michael Owen show and where he's completely unchallenged and just says what he wants, but he says one thing this week and next week he says something completely different and expects and feels that nobody remembers or we are just ignorant to what he's saying. It's just, it's terrible. And it's really going to come to a head. It's really going to come to a head. And all the other fans, football fans that are laughing right now because Arsenal are the one getting the scrutiny. Remember last season it was Wolves. Next season it could be your team, right? And when the PGMOL wants to double down, they do double down. And you will see it consistently in how the referee a particular team throughout the season because they know that they've made a very big error in one of the matches, but then they don't want to admit that. To then not give those kind of decisions against those teams would them almost admitting that they got it absolutely wrong. And they don't want to do that. So, laugh now, but next season it could be your team at the hand of all of these decisions that you're never gonna see anymore. Right. So listen, guys, it was frustrating, but at the end of the day, this game was meaningless. It really was. Even if Arsenal had won this game and drawn this game or lost this game, it really meant nothing from a Premier League perspective. The league is done. Liverpool are not going to lose 4 games or 5 games and completely capitulate. You will need to have the mother of all capitulations for Liverpool not to win this league. And fair play to them. They haven't blinked. They've found ways to win in whatever shape or form. They've had people that have stood up and had nicked those goals when they needed it in order to carry them over the line. They've not been great. They've not been vintage. But Arsenal can look at the 11 draws that we've had this season and say that's the reason why we didn't win the league. That is the reason why we didn't win the league. Last season, we had 5 draws. This season, the season's not even over. We've got 11. Got 11 draws. So I'm telling you, if you take 6 of those, excuse me, take 6 of those draws, turn them into wins, you're looking at what? So those draws, we got 6 points. We dropped 2 points, so we got 12. So we dropped 12 points in those games. Now you give 12 points, and now we're dead level with Liverpool. We're dead level. So for me, I think that's it. We've had too many draws. And for me, I think when a team has too many draws, you don't deserve the title. You really don't. It's as much as the Invincible was great, we had a lot of draws in that season. I want wins. Wins is what for me makes it undeniably you're a good team. I think Arsenal is drifting a little bit this season. And listen, there's reasons for it, right? We've talked about it extensively on this channel, talk about the injuries, the bad luck, and all of that. But we need to kick again. For me, rather than just one other thing I want to say about refereeing and what the solution is, I think we get the challenge flag in. Get a red challenge flag in. Each manager has a red flag. They can have one challenge each half of the game. They throw it. If they get it, great. If they don't, they lose their challenge. I think it would make the game so much better. They've got to go to the screen. You've got to go to the screen because for me, I don't think that VAR wants to go against the on-field decision. They're going to hide behind that. There was nothing in that tackle today, nothing in that incident today. I'm not even calling it tackle. Nothing in that incident today between Lewis-Skelly and who was it, Harrison? That was a foul. Nothing. So I think for me, you get the red challenge out, and that's it. And now we start to see the game improve. But guys, let me know what you think about the game today. What did you take out of it? Are you still hoping for the title? Because I'm not. And we've got Real Madrid. It did Mikel Arteta make the right decision today in terms of the squad and who was selected? And are you confident in terms of what we're going to do against Real Madrid? Please put it in the comments as well. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as well. And listen, share this content, with anyone that was an Arsenal fan, especially if you love the content as well. And I'll see you in the next one.